Hello, everybody, and welcome to Deborah Kobylt Live, and happy Halloween. Love this holiday. And my guest in studio with me right now is Amy Linden. She is the Hollywood celebrity booking coach to everyone, but particularly many, many stars that you've heard of. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Large studio.
Oh, see, the crowd's there. They're out there.
They
Look
all
at that.
came. They all came for you.
Love it. Okay, let's go.
You are the author of the 15 Guideline Map to Booking a Job, or to booking.
Yes.
The Linden Technique. We're going to get into all that. You also have a YouTube show. It is called the Linden Experience, and that's on YouTube.
Yep.
That thing's hilarious. We'll play a little bit about
Oh,
of that
okay.
later.
That was
First,
okay.
let's talk about some important things.
Okay.
Halloween. Do you not love Halloween? I got to tell you something. This is kind of funny. I'll just be really brief. I came here a little bit in costume, like a hippie. And my board guy, Kurt, who's a friend of mine, he looked in shock because I was in color. And he said, this is like the wrong person walking through the door. So I took off my costume and I'm back to normal Deborah. I even had like big earrings, but I just couldn't pull it off. So.
Oh, well, you have to feel it. You know, when you left in the morning, you needed to see, I'm coaching her. Look at that. When you left in the morning, you needed to have been speaking to yourself character thoughts.
And felt like a hippie.
Yes,
or like
so when
something.
you walked in, you sold it. See, he didn't
Yeah.
buy it. He didn't buy
Well,
it.
very briefly, we should talk about that because Halloween, you know, whoever you feel like you are on the inside, I think is who you project many, many years. For many years in your costume, you know, like friends of mine who are these great lawyers and attorneys, and they show up in this French maid looking stuff, and they look like, you know,
That's kind of kinky.
prostitutes. It is,
Yes.
and you know, by day they're buttoned up lawyers, and the guys are always villains and something tough. Do you ever notice that? It's kind of funny.
You know, but for actors, they're kind of posers. Because we dress up every day of our lives.
This is true.
You
So
know?
why
And
dress
we're
up?
all- yeah, so it's just another day for us. So, you know, and
But
so
you came
I
in an
think-
athletic.
That's right, because I'm a
outfit.
coach.
Oh, I get it.
Get it?
A coach in pearls.
I did that on purpose.
Oh, you're like adorable.
That shows me that I'm a successful coach.
There you go. Well, you are, because wait a minute. First, let's talk a little bit about you. You've got over 100 IMDb credits. That's pretty incredible.
And that's actually the one, there's a lot that people don't even put up there. So I've worked a lot because I love it.
What have you been in?
I was in JAG, I was in NCIS, I was in Ugly Betty, I did 5 soap operas, I was in Freddy's Nightmares, I was in, I can just go on and on. Providence when that was on the air, and just goes on. And I was BTK, I was in BTK, Kane Hodder, his wife.
Oh, wow.
And actually, that was a really good acting job because I was supposed to be from the Midwest and didn't know he was a serial killer for over 20 years. Now, those of you who know me, obviously, I would know somebody's a serial killer after I first meet them. I would just say, hey, you know what? You really remind me of a serial killer.
Where are you from, Amy? Where are you from?
I'm from New Rochelle, New York. Actually, I just visited there. It was so cool.
Us folks from New Jersey and New York.
Oh, where are you from?
Springfield, New Jersey. We
Shut
moved,
up.
Yeah,
Count
girl.
it,
But we moved when I was a kid back down to Florida because my
It's
dad
still
got a
the
job
same.
there.
Everybody in New York went to Florida.
I guess, but they didn't retire. You know, my dad got a job there at Tropicana.
awesome.
So we moved. We picked up
Tropicana?
the orange juice people. Yeah.
Ooh.
It was kind of fun.
Is that Anita Bryant?
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
she
didn't
was the
even
one
know
that had that commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the orange commercial. Yeah.
Well, he used to take me on tours of the plant where the oranges would go and come in from the trucks.
Oh, did you drink a lot of orange juice as a kid?
I don't think we got it for free. No, but it was kind of fun. I used to love going into the plant, you know, and he was one of the people that was in charge of the guys at the plant, and I loved it. It was a fun place to move to. But anyway, us folk, though, from New Jersey and New York, you can't get much past us.
Yeah, it's a bonding thing.
Yeah. But let's talk about your career.
Okay.
Your distinguished career.
Thank you.
Hollywood celebrity booking coach. How did you get into that, and what does it mean to be a Hollywood celebrity booking coach?
Well, what makes a Hollywood celebrity booking coach? Well, first off, the Hollywood, I'm in Hollywood. Celebrity, I have created I just put in number 48 network series regulars, an Emmy winner, and an Imagen winner, and and thousands of people working around the world just from this technique that I created.
What is the technique that you created?
It's called the Linden Technique. It's
Yeah.
a 15 guideline map to booking technique, and it basically teaches you how to tell a better story. And it also protects you in the room because there's many reasons why somebody doesn't book a job, and a lot has to do with feeling the judgment in the room. So
walk me through it. I'm just get called in for a job on a TV show. I don't know. What do you think? Let's like do a little role play.
Well, first thing I would ask you is, have you seen the show? I actually had a guy that gets called in on these shows all the time, and then I ask him, have you seen the show? He says, yeah, I saw it once. Well, then I say, well, then you don't deserve to be on it. Because if you don't understand the tone and the style, you have to look like you're on the show already.
Yeah.
So if you're acting like you're in a different show, they're not going to hire you.
Yeah, that's
so
really...
they'll be like, great actor, that's why they keep calling you in, but you're missing it on the tone and the style and the understanding of how the show is.
So when you walk into this, but I assume that most actors would do that. I mean,
no, they'll dress up like the character, but like there's a difference between style of shows. Like Breaking Bad is different than American Crime, which is different than American Horror Story, different than The Killing, which is different. You know, I could go on. And they're all listed as episodic.
So you really, really have to understand and know the tone of the particular show, even if it's within the same genre.
Absolutely.
That's hard.
That's absolutely. And then if it's a pilot, just make sure that you look up the producers, because in television, the producers pretty much do the same thing, except for Ryan Murphy, because he's a genius. He gets to do what he wants. Because, I mean, he did Glee and American Horror Story and Versace, so he's a genius.
He's it.
But for the most part, if somebody's doing sitcoms, a producer, they're going to end up doing more sitcoms. Like Kelsey Grammer, Gramnet, he did Cheers and he also did Frasier. They were kind of the same kind of show.
Right.
A dry comedy.
Is it very different today going into an audition than it was back when Kelsey Grammer was,
Well,
out?
Interestingly enough, when I went in during those days, everybody would show up because they didn't have the technology. So there would be like 25 people in the callback.
Ooh.
You understand? Today, there's maybe like 6, 7 maybe, because they're home looking at tape.
Right.
And then a lot of times, people won't even see anybody. They'll have you do a self-tape, and that will be your first qualifier.
That's really hard because you have no room to read. In other words, you can't walk into a room and read anybody. It's just you and the camera. I guess you really better know your stuff.
The only thing good about it is you get to do it over and over and over and over again until you really like the take. Whereas when you're in the room, you only get one shot.
Like really only one? You just walk in.
That's it.
And you read for them, and if you stumble and screw up, can they tell if you're any good? How many times have you heard an actor go, "Ugh, I messed up the audition. I couldn't believe I got a call back, and then I got fired." Like, how does that happen?
Well, they must have been the right typing.
Yeah.
Television is all about a look and a feel. Feature film is really where the depth of character, you sell character because it's a bigger screen, so you can't lie on it.
You can't
Not
lie
that you can lie about television, but television is really more character. It's more story driven. Like series regular, they're story driven. Whereas feature film is more of the screenplay driven and character driven.
So let's go through a little bit of the 15 guideline map to booking. What are some of the important
I like how you earmarked it.
Yeah.
Do you know, one time there was a girl that was sitting next to me in class, and she earmarked it, highlighted, underlined it. I got all misty. Misty.
Yeah, because we actually were paying attention to what you're doing.
Because that's what I used to do when I was in school. I used to highlight and underline and earmark. I was crazy with all my books. And so now this is my book she was doing it to.
Right, so you felt really proud. Like somebody's reading, somebody's paying attention, somebody's going to get booked. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go to chapter 7, I guess. Every line is a separate thought.
That's right. So what did you mean?
What does that mean?
What did you mean when you just said everybody's going to get booked? What did you mean when you say that?
Well,
what do you mean?
I guess I meant a little jokingly, read the book, study it, then you may get booked.
Okay.
I should have said everybody may get booked.
No, it doesn't matter. But what do you mean when you say that? Every line is a separate thought. Everything we say
I don't know.
has
I may have-
meaning.
okay.
And so if we understand what we're talking about, then it's easier to say the line. A lot of people just say dialogue because they want to be all casual and whatever. But what really pops you in the room is understanding exactly what you're saying, what you're feeling, and what you're doing.
Can you give me a concrete example of that? Like, for example,
Well, I just asked you what you were saying, and you didn't know exactly.
Well, I
so
will
you
tell
would
you something.
you would sit and figure out exactly what you meant, and then you would lay that line right on top.
Reporting or having a talk show and acting are almost polar opposite.
They really are.
Because when you're reporting, you're asking other people questions, and a lot of it is, once you do your research, a lot of it is a little off the top of your head. When you do a talk show, it's completely off the top of mine. And
yeah,
then when
you're not emotionally involved either. You're kind of detached a little bit.
Yeah, but it's just, for me, it's a conversation.
Exactly.
And when you're acting, you are someone else, and you better portray them. They're very different. A lot of people don't
that we
realize
go
that.
to see are the people that feel the deepest. And that's what we're paying $20 to go see them now in the theater, are the people that are the most tortured.
Right.
That's who we go see.
Right.
So as an actor, you can have like 3 great actors, bronze, silver, and gold, but the person that gets the gold is the one that has the most precision, the most dexterity, and has power.
Can you give me some concrete examples of someone who's going out for a role? Like, what are the steps that they need to do specifically?
Okay, well, they get the call from the agent, and as soon as you get the call, you need to not go and read it like with your roommate and start practicing right away. That's like the worst thing that you can do. The best thing you could do is stand outside of it as much as possible and understand it from the writer's perspective. If you read it from the writer's perspective, then you'll understand what everybody is doing, saying, and feeling. You can't have an argument with somebody unless you know what they're arguing about.
What if you're not sure what the writer's perspective is?
If you stand outside of it long enough, you'll see it.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm just teaching people how to read better. My reading comprehension skills were really bad.
But what about the director? The director also interprets the writer. So how do
you
you really know who to interpret?
When you come in and you're swinging all the way through with exactly what you feel the character's feeling, that's when the director gets excited to work with you. You can be completely wrong, but I'd rather you be strong and wrong and go in and excite the director where they say, I can't wait to get my hands on you. Because you're so interesting, you're so strong, and you're making me feel something.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of times we'll get a scene, and I tell my people it's really just a slice of pizza. You have no reference points. You just have the scene. So in that scene, what's going on?
So you get
based on the
nothing.
tone and the style.
Wow, very, very interesting. Okay, so what's next? So try and really identify what the writer's trying to say. What's next?
And read it 10 times. Make sure that you understand it, what's going on, because you can't play it if you don't understand it. And then really understanding, breaking it down into beginning, middle, and end, because most actors flatline. Every story has a beginning, middle, and end. So the 15 guidelines are just there to help you tell a better story, to help you see things that most people miss. Because, I mean, somebody the other day in class, it said something about she hits him. She totally missed it. I'm like, how do you miss that?
Wait, she didn't hit him?
She missed the action that said she hits him.
Oh, that's a bummer. Such an opportunity.
Such an opportunity. So by missing that, you miss a great moment, because great acting is great moments. And you also miss nuance and character. And so I'm basically teaching you how not to miss things. And also, a lot of actors have a tendency to be really nervous in the room. And so the technique protects you in the room. There's a guideline that what is my opening emotion, and making sure that it's really strong so you don't pick up the energy in the room and fall out.
Okay, give me that one. Because if I were to walk into a room with the writer and the director and the producer or whoever else, I'd be a bag of nerves.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, you should be in the waiting room. You shouldn't be going over your script. If you're going over your script, then you didn't do enough homework. You should be only working on your opening emotion, the environment. So when you walk in the office, you're actually walking into the scene. of where the
Oh.
scene is. And then the casting director needs to be the person that you're talking to. Not just personalization, but the entire energy. Because casting directors are not supposed to read well. That's not their job. And so sometimes an actor spends their whole audition trying to get them to pull up their head, which is ridiculous. That's not what the scene's about. Because casting directors hear differently. Sometimes they'll read it flat, or sometimes they'll read it fast. And so it throws actors off because they think they're going to go in and have a great time with the casting director and exchange energy, which is what Meisner teaches you.
Oh, my. How did you learn all this?
Well, I graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts from Syracuse University, and they didn't teach us business there.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Meisner School in New York City, neighborhood playhouse when I was 16. They didn't teach me that there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't teach me that when I went to the University of London, or Stella Adler didn't teach me. I studied with her.
Wow.
I studied with Harry Master George. He didn't teach me. They all taught me how to be a great actor, but nobody taught me how to book a job. So this is the technique that I use to book a job. And if I don't answer all 15 of my questions, I'm going to suffer in the room.
How many people have you worked with? How many people have you helped get a job and book a job?
Thousands.
Anybody you can name for us?
Adam Brody, Hosea Chanchez from The Game, Paris Belk from Mighty Men, who's on Alexa and Katie now.
Wow.
Lauren Taylor, who had no credits at all. 48 of my series regulars, a quarter of them have no other credits. They've only trained in my technique.
So 48 series regulars.
Yeah, I've been teaching for over 25 years.
Wow.
I help them understand this technique, and they use this technique to book a job. I just had a guy, he just booked, I think it's called AP Bio, Miguel, and he just booked 12 out of 13 episodes on a show. And, you know, these guys, they were sitting in class, they're right next to each other, any one of them at any time. That's why it's so seductive, this business. Hosea Chanchez got the game while he was in class. I mean, there's people Rainy Rodriguez from Austin and Alley, that was my student. Her little brother Rico, who's on Modern Family, he was 6 years old. He used to sit in the back of my class with his mom. Crazy.
Are there more opportunities now with all the different, between Netflix, which seems to have a new show that it's highlighting every week, and just there's so much out there?
I mean, people are just, there's a new network popping up all the time. I just came from New York City because I've been traveling a lot.
Right.
I went to Montana, which is God's country, I have to say. Beautiful.
Wow.
New York City and Nashville, and next week I'm going to Colorado, and then I'm going to Chicago. And I'm teaching this technique everywhere. But when I was in New York, I taught a master class. The next day, the guy got 19 pages.
Wow.
And the day after, he met the director and he booked it. Because and he hadn't been booking. But anyway, he's on a new network, to answer your question, that I had never heard of. And this is going to be his breakout, like Hulu, like Amazon. This show that he's going to be on is going to be the breakout for that new network. And he's now a recurring guest star.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy.
So I told you that I was, in fact, in a major motion picture once.
Yes.
So let's say I wanted to sort of resurrect that. Where do you see me, either in a show or in a film, and how could you help me?
Well, first I would ask you, what actors do you believe have your job? That's the first thing I would ask you.
She's not an actor, but it's Chelsea Handler.
Okay, so we're talking about dry comedy, okay?
Mm-hmm. Because she interviews people, a little tongue-in-cheek, and that's
So then
what I do.
see you, like, on Curb Your Enthusiasm, right?
Yeah.
Larry David.
Or a little nutty, like...
yeah, Two Broke Girls, sort of like Jennifer Coolidge. I see you in Weeds. I was talking earlier that I feel like a great storyline for Deb would be that she's in suburbia and she's got this amazing cocaine operation that nobody knows because she takes her kids to school and it's in the basement and she's...
How cool would that be?
Yeah, you're sort
I
of
would
like
love to
Breaking
act
Bad
something like that.
meets Weeds.
Really?
Meets like Married with Children.
Married with Children.
Yes.
Something
Then you
like...
get to dress in really cool outfits.
Oh, and I would just be fabulous. So no, we got to work on something like that.
Fabulous.
I've come close to stuff, but it's never quite hit.
Yeah, but I'm going to be your neighbor. I just gave myself a part. I'm going to be her fun neighbor.
Yeah, I just think it would be fun. And before life completely passes by, I want to really do something like that. I've got to do it. And you got to get the nerve, though.
I can help you.
Yeah.
I could help you.
So when people
you
walk
could do
in
it at any age, guys, any age.
Well, when people walk in the room, do you kind of feel an energy from them and say, I know where she'd be terrific, or he?
Well, I watch a lot of television.
Right.
So since I watch a lot of television, I have a tremendous amount of reference points. So, and you could also be, for a guest star, you can be like dance moms. You know, when you go, you're in the ER and your daughter is there because of malnutrition, and you starved her basically because you wanted her to win the competition. So I could see that.
I could see me talking to the director and saying, I would never do something like
this. Yeah, but your character would.
No, I know. I'm just being silly. You know, and you also, let's talk a little bit about your TV show.
Okay.
The Linden experience. Do we have a clip of that? Can we show? Can we talk over it too?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Okay, this is Bellamy Seville. She's a student of mine, and she's a wonderful photographer. And I picked this episode because this episode is to show you guys how to put together a demo reel. I mean, not a demo reel, the best photo session. And so the Linden experience was just me wanting to learn stuff from people. So I actually asked all my people in my world, like one of my students, Bernadette Gambino, is a sheriff, so she put me through basic training in one episode. My friend Andy took me to a strip club. She blindfolded me and took me to a pole dancing class. Oh. So, yeah. Yeah, it's really fun.
Look at you there.
I'm heading
Glamming for the camera.
Yeah, look at that. So I'm heading into my third season, and I have guests, Anthony Henry, who's an NFL star, and Antonio Dixon, who's a multi-award-winning Grammy Award winner. And he's a Platinum Award winner. He's worked with Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake. He's worked with Alicia Keys, Beyonce, crazy. So he's my guest.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And we went into his studio, and I asked him, how do you see a star? Like, when you meet somebody, how do you know that they're going to be a #1 singer?
And what did he say?
A lot of it's charisma.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine, Adam Levine. We all know
he's a friend of yours? You know that's my real last name. Is
Levine?
Yeah, Levine.
Are you related? I could let him know.
No, we're not related, but I love him. I think he's very talented.
No, but he said the same thing on The Voice. The second he even sees the human being before they even, well, I guess he can't do that because his back is turned. But as soon as he
feel it,
he can feel it. And these guys are generally right, and gals, of course. They're right. They really can pick it because they have it themselves. It's sort of that it thing.
You also have to sell tickets, you know, and so now that we're in a social media world, you have to be entertaining. You have to be likable. Well, if you're going to be on television, you have to be likable because you're in everybody's rooms once a week. If you're on a soap opera, then you better have a strong emotional vehicle because your life has to be worse than everybody in the Midwest. Now, if you are on a feature film, you have plenty of time to create that reality for yourself, but it's not so much the charisma in feature film. It's absolutely the talent.
So
it's your skill level, really.
Yeah. So the actor's toolbox.
Yes.
What is that?
The actor's toolbox I have, if you do not live in Los Angeles, you don't have to be here, guys, to learn my technique. You could get the book, you could get the audiobook, and I also have the actor's toolbox. I am coaching over 83 people on there, and now I just came out with a 7-part series on nerves, on the audition room, the outer office, self-confidence, and I have a bonus screening of Should I Quit Acting? And there's motivational minutes on there. There's a ton of assignments. If you do the assignments, then you can build a business package. And so you get a free week, guys, so try it out.
And you also teach people how to make a reel.
Yes.
That's tough.
I write it. I write their scenes.
Oh.
Because I'm an award-winning director. I've directed a ton of stuff. I love directing.
So you do that.
So that's what we should do. We should do a pilot that you're in that I direct.
Yeah.
There it is. And then I'll be your on-set coach.
Honestly,
Look, guys, see, I just gave myself a job.
There you go. No, I also just don't think there's a lot of really good, fun interviewers out there. I mean, you either have a bunch of women who are cackling at each other, which bores the crap out of me. I don't know about you. Or there's really nobody in late night. I love Chelsea. I thought she was so cutting edge, but she's gone by her own, choice.
And it's your turn.
It is my turn. That's what I'm interested in. Not reading anybody else's lines, but delivering my own. So that's my thing.
Because you are your own
I am my own. I would have the hardest time. I remember I played in Taming of the Shrew. I was the shrew, and then I was...
You played Catherine.
I was both. Isn't it Bianca?
Oh, Bianca.
Yeah, see? I remember. And I was both, depending upon, which season it was. And I had the hardest time remembering the lines. I don't know how you people do that. So I'm like, forget it. I'll just get into this business and deliver my own lines. But anyway...
Actually, let's talk about memorizing lines. I think there's a lot of people that really stress that. Now, I got to say, television, you do have to be word perfect. But the problem is that being word perfect oftentimes shuts the talent down, and it's hard
totally
to feel
agree
emotional
with that.
When you're thinking about getting it right. It's you're only going to be as good as your homework, guys. It's really important that you understand the emotional life of the character. Know exactly what you're saying, how you're feeling. It's how you're studying. Study in your section. Study in the beginning, the middle, the end. Don't run it. You'll run it out. And it's really important that you understand how you feel. Then you'll get it right.
You also said don't just read it with your roommates.
Yes.
Who do you read it with?
You sit and marinate on it.
Okay, after you're marinating, who do you read it to or with?
You shouldn't be reading it with anybody.
Can you at least look in the mirror and look at how you...
You don't need to, because if you're doing it right, everything about you will be right. We're interested in your inner life, not your outer life. Your body will do exactly what it needs to do if your inner person, if your emotions are correct.
Yeah, it's a tough business, and people don't realize that. They're like, oh, an
actor... Cream rises to the top. I see it every single day in my class. I see it every day. I get an email. People say they booked this, they booked that. One of my girls, she's been in class 2 years, really strong. And now she's working with Vera Formiga on Annabelle 3. And she spent 8 hours in a car with her because all of her scenes are with her. And this is a girl that's still in class. I've trained her for 2 years, and she beat everybody. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's a competition. That's why I got on my coach suit.
And for Halloween. Okay. So
No. I'm wearing something else tonight.
Oh, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a queen outfit.
Oh, so you're a queen. See, once again, tapping that inner you. Like I told you, I'm showing up probably on a broomstick, and I'm just gonna.
Mean.
No, I'm not mean at all.
At all.
But not even a little bit. So I'm gonna tap the
your
inner
inner self
witch.
would love to be that.
I'd love to be a mean witch. Either that, or I'll tell you who I am a lot, Wilma Flintstone, because my husband.
I love that.
I know, because my husband always shows up in the same Fred Flintstone costume, and if you knew him, he's kind of really a Fred Flintstone type. He even looks a little like him. I swear to God. So we're a very good Wilma and Fred. It depends upon my mood.
I think that would be really cute. I always said that my father looked like Fred Flintstone too. That's so weird.
Those guys get ahead, those Flintstones.
Yeah.
Anyway, so people who want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
It's really funny.
That's true.
Go to the lindentechnique.com. You can call the office, 818-760-8501.
Yeah, but it's on your website.
Yeah, everything's on the lindentechnique.com.
The lindentechnique.com.
Now, if you want to get the free week on the business site and watch the technique being done, I have audios on there too that you can learn everything about the technique, and I'm also lecturing, so you could hear me lecture about the technique on the actorstoolbox.net.
And what I'm
also doing a video in 3 weeks about memorization. So
I should show up for that one.
On the Actors Toolbox.
When you say you're doing a video, you're going to be online talking about that, right?
It's on the Toolbox.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a membership. And then watch me on the Linden Experience on YouTube.
And order the Linden Technique. Look, it's an easy read. You can just reference it.
Hey, do you see the size of this, guys? Show them the size.
It's paper thin.
Yeah, but it's the size of a Samuel French play. So you could put it in your back pocket. You could put it in your purse. I also made the font really big, and I made it really short, so you can read it over and over and over and over again.
Okay.
Like a lot of people make acting books, and they make them too big, and so they read them once, and that's it.
Yeah, you just need to know nonsense, bullet points of acting.
Yeah, just get to
the
it.
Linden Technique, everybody, please also look her up. I think you're terrific. You're a wealth of knowledge. I do want to work with you. It'd be kind of fun. So
That would be great.
We'll talk about that
I can
later.
help you.
Everybody, happy Halloween. And thank you for tuning in to Deborah Kobylt Live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And you can hear us on Apple Podcasts and the iHeartRadio app. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.